I'm Turk Strongman at Logic and Methodology of Mind Institute. Thank you for selecting this video on war and enemy. Before I continue, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, then please do now. Also, activate the notification bell feature to be apprised of my new uploads. And one more thing, share the joy of this channel right now easily by clicking on the thumb up icon immediately below this media player window. War and enemy. I don't like the word war. I don't like the syllable. I don't like the sound, but most of all, it's the connotation, I guess. Anyway, I just don't like the word. And thinking it, pronouncing it, saying it, discussing it. While at the same time just thinking of it as that word, war. And again, all that that entails is not a good mindset. It doesn't feel good to me. I don't think it's the right kind of attention to the general thing that's denoted by the word war. So I came up with consciousness hijacking. Because war, in my circles at the time, in my personal sphere, had to do with war on consciousness, mind war, consciousness war on consciousness. So consciousness was appropriate, but the word war bothered me. So I called it consciousness hijacking. That's how I came up with that term. So here I am, talking about spiritual warfare. I'm using the term in addition to the term warfare, not just war, but warfare. And then I'm putting the word spiritual in front of it. Well, how does this sit with me? And as long as we're talking about war or warfare, and then something is spiritual as spiritual warfare, then we must be talking about some kind of an enemy. Well, what's the enemy? Or who? Exactly here. Wow. And maybe that's one of the little sub reasons why I just never really liked the word war, because it just presupposes enemy. Excuse me. I don't know. Sometimes, while it may feel good to have a sworn enemy, somehow satisfying or fulfilling, I don't know. I think I could adjust to to a no enemy situation. I think I can adjust well to that. Appreciate that. Yeah. So anyway, now what are we talking about? And the word war, why? Why now? Well, now, I got the word consciousness hijacking right in there. I want to use a familiar term, I guess. I just want to use a familiar term. And besides, spiritual warfare, I've already laid this out. That's the only warfare that makes any damn sense. So, I already got that, okay? There is a thing called spiritual warfare. And it's the only warfare that makes any sense. So, that's the only one that's ever made any sense. And I mentioned the great, excuse me, the warrior Arjuna in the epic spiritual warfare, the spiritual warfare epic, Bhagavad Gita, especially the Bhagavad Gita portion of the Mahabharata. Okay, Indian text, ancient Indian text. Okay. All right. So anyway, just what are we talking about here with enemies? What are we talking about? Really? Spirits? Disembodied souls? Bad pollen in the air? Jesus' demons? The demons that Jesus cast out in the Essene Gospel of Peace, the ones that he cast out from the sick and the ailing, the possessed. Demons like abominations, the devil, Satan in people. There's like gastrointestinal worms, tapeworms and shit coming out. Those kind of demons. What else? Sentient AI, alien black goo. Forces, powers, but the personified versions of those may be called powers, dominions, principalities. All of those things, archbishops, dead ancestors, nanotechnology, AI. What are we talking about? Disembodied souls, astral corpses, just what are we talking about? Are we talking about our own inner temptations? Or some entity that has to do with those? Or things that mess with us in our sleep? Just what are we talking about? Unhealthy eating practices? Negative thinking, that's what it is. No, wait, no. Wait. It was the first sin. It goes back to the first sin. On and on and on. What is it? Which one? Well, it's no. No, we got to get past all that. Literary, endless controversy, which is for the sluggardly minded of us all. Thank you. Thank you, sluggardly minded among us, so that we have that. We have endless controversy. Good. Well, I guess somebody had to make use of it. Okay, well, it's not going to be us, okay? It's not going to be us here. For us, if there's an enemy, if we're going to stick with this metaphorical, really, well, no, it's accurate terminology. It refers, it obtains. Yeah, it's reasonable. Spiritual warfare. So who's the enemy? Who or what? Really, there's only one requirement of anything to be grouped with the enemy. There's not a lot of gray area, folks. We want to complicate things with gray areas, of course. And we can come up with all kinds of things to fill in an ever-widening gray area. But that's not like that. That's not really that's not what we're talking about. Start doing that, we're talking about something else. What we're talking about here is anything that influences or works toward our own, individually and as a human race. Right? Anything that works against our own consciousness development of self-worth, mastery of self by self, and mastery over our own personal involvement. Anything that goes against our constructive evolvement, or in other words, our best interests, is enemy. Oh, but isn't that a bit biased in view? Isn't that a bit contrived? Or isn't that a bit, I don't know. Doesn't that sound just a little bit, yeah, not quite fair to everybody? Not quite fair. Well, now, we're not talking about any specific entities. We're not being prejudiced of any kind. We're not being prejudiced, right? What we're saying here is that anything that works against our best interests and our survival and our growth and our development and our personal involvement, our continued establishment of individualized selfhood in the cosmos toward our own self-mastery, these things are not, other than that, they're not working in our best interests. And they are considered enemy. That's it. That's it. But can we say then? We can say, but this is just the yin and yang of affairs, man. This is just, what do you want to call it? You know, the essential duality, good and evil, plus and minus, black and white, light and dark, ebb and flow, high and low, on and off. Just the nature of things. Duality. Call it Maya. The illusory nature of an ever-shifting world, making it something appear to be permanent about it. What about all of that? I mean, why would we really want to consider half of that enemy? Well, it's like this, friends. It's not half of that being considered enemy. It's aspects of half of that. Aspects like, well, you know what? Yes. All beings and all life has a right to survive and evolve, become more than what it is. But also, we, all have a right to protect their own species, especially their own young, especially their own individual lives, their own individual sovereignty, their own individual, It's not our job to be food at any level, energy, food, any level of our beings, for it to be food or host to other entities who parasite off it, or who gain any kind of nourishment or life force, soul energy, anything from ours. See? That's about like the same, on the physical level, one way of things like that instantiated, like eating us physically. But is it our job? Is it our position to let all others feed on us? Bite away at us? All the way through and through? To our very core of being? No! That's nonsense, right? You and I know that. If I'd have tried to describe it any further, you'd have probably got tired of hearing it, because you know it too. Ad nauseum, ad absurdum, ad infinitum. As all men know. So, enemy in this thing that we're calling spiritual warfare. How else can it be? I mean, that's the line from which you either then start excluding things from that classification or from that function. Enemy in the spiritual warfare. Another way to say that is that thing over there which works, against my best interests with respect to my personal involvement, my mastery of self by self, my establishment, recognition, realization, and manifestation of true selfhood, mastery of all my personal involvement. Things working against that? Yeah. Those are the things to move away from. Spiritual warfare. That's the way it's always been, that's the way it is, and that's the way it's going to stay for at least a long time. So really here, the answer is pretty simple. The answer is pretty simple. I know I still don't like the word warfare. But this is the context in which warfare, this is the context in which the use of the word war and the word warfare actually point to something that makes sense. All right. If you liked this video, give it a thumb up. If you didn't like it, I don't care. Give it a thumb up anyway. Whatever you want. Just supposed to say these things at the beginnings or ends of videos. I'm supposed to also, once again, repeat, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And while you're at it, go ahead and activate the notification bell feature so that you can be apprised of our new uploads. All right. Well, thank you for selecting this video on war and enemy. I think that's what it was called, right? Yeah. All right. Thank you. My wife says yes. And now, I'm Turk Strongman at Logic and Methodology of Mind Institute. Good night.